Hi, I'm Hans Peter and here I'm going to talk about basic rock guitar. What is basic rock guitar? It's this typical chords which some of us really love. And something like this. Or something like this. The good news is the chords are pretty easy because they're more or less the same, and all basic tricks you need to know about rock guitar or rock rhythm guitar I will explain you in this video here. And the bad news, or let's say the medium bad news, is even the chords are easy to play or to grab. It's a little bit difficult till you really have it practiced, that you really attack the right strings, because you have a lot of distortion. In this case I have an orange amp. I love orange amps, by the way. We have this creamy, really hard distortion, and you really have to be precise with your picking hand to get this tone out of it. And the other main thing you need to know about that it sounds really that hard. Put your guitar on this pickup that has more bite, and it has to be tuned pretty precise, and then you're ready to go. Now when we talk about rock guitar, we are talking about power chords. What are power chords? Power chords actually are chords with mainly 2 notes, something like this, sometimes 3 notes, or in rare occasions 4 notes. But basically they have the root note, like this is E5 power chord, so we have the open E string, and we grab here the 5th in the 2nd fret of the A string, so this is E5. If you want to have E5 more extended, you add the root note above, then you make a little barre here, so this is also E5, or you can make E5 like this, with the open E string. Now we switch in the 7th fret, here in the 9th fret. Now you hear it sounds different than this power chord, but both is E5, just different kind of voicings. Or even you can have this E5 chord with 4 notes, then you make a barre here on the 7th, and barre, so you have 4 notes. Then it sounds even more fat. So we have these types of power chords: E5, G5, A5 or A5, C5. Pretty easy stuff. And when you play in these dimensions of power chords, this typical AC/DC style, then you make these special power chords: E5, G5, D5, A5. AC/DC plays a lot with these chords actually. So the G5 looks like a normal G chord, but you grab in the 3rd fret, damp the A string, and then you grab here in the 3rd fret of the B string and you damp the high E string, and then you really attack pretty dynamically. And this gives this really fat sound. D5 here in the 3rd. In the 2nd, damp the high E string and don't play the low E string, you damp it a little bit with your thumb. And then you also dynamically attack it. And A5. Here, of course, open the A string, 2nd fret, D string, 2nd fret, G string, and E5. Now when you want to play these chords, first of all, you need to attack them precisely with your picking hand. You make these damping techniques I explained to you. And when you switch between the chords, like, and then in between, when you switch between the chords with your attacking and a picking hand, you damp the strings. You attack, damp, change, 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 And that's what really makes it the difference when you really play precise. And all comes from the picking, and the chords are not really hard to grab. This is typical AC/DC style. If you want to play the normal power chords, only with two notes, this is also very easy. On the low E string, of course, like this little song here, E5 to G5 to A5, C5, B5. So this is, maybe you know this one. Cool little riff, or any kind of different riff, you can play with these chords. Just switch between, and the same technique in between, you damp with your picking hand. See, I always damp like this. This is pretty cool. Another technique which is pretty important on rock guitar, or you might know a few songs like this, so like this technique is a mixture between damping technique and opening technique, and mostly happens in your picking hand. So you take an E5 now, and now you damp the open A string. You have your hand, you're picking it like here, find the right position, then attack the open A string like this. If the hand is too much like this, no tone, and too far behind this, no damping. You have to find the right position. When you found the right position, then you like this, and then you add the upper part of the power chord, in this case A5. Now you release the picking hand and attack. See? Pretty cool, pretty easy. Now you want to make movements. The picking hand remains in position, you make damping, then release, damp, release. See, very easy actually. Then you switch to F5, G5, and another technique, when you switch between the chords, you make like dead notes. See? 1, 2, now you make dead notes. You damp with your left hand, and you make the dead notes with the picking. Pretty easy stuff actually. Another example for a summary of all these techniques is something like this with A minor. Now when we analyze this, we first have a hammer-on movement with A minor. Now we damp, and then just add the open A string damped. And then the dead notes between the chords. See? And that really makes it the difference. And here I added the fat F, the fat, not the F, the C5, third bar here, and also bar in the low. So we have 4 strings which we attack. C5, D5, and this is the whole thing. I hope you enjoyed my little lesson about basic rock guitar, basic rock rhythm guitar, playing power chords. If you have these essentials together, then you really can play a lot of rock guitar. Oh, this one I forgot, of course. This galloping thing. This is with open strings, and you play 16 or so, 4 notes per beat. If you have this is the drum, taga 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 taga. So and this is the last technique which I forgot before, but it's also essential. And these are the main techniques which you find in any kind of rock guitar playing, even if you play metalcore or this stuff. It's just more wild, but the basic techniques, if you play metalcore or you play metal or you play rock or you play hard rock or whatever, the basic techniques are these which I explained to you now. So just practice the chords, practice the damping techniques, and tune your guitar precisely, and put the pickup setting on this one behind, and have a cool guitar, and then rock on.